Look what it does. So without further ado, you're too tall.
Oh.
It's so chunky. But you could really take something out with that. Hi guys, it's Sam and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be filming a bookshelf tour. I'm super excited to show you guys what's on it because I've moved house and I've done a different arrangement, and I've also got a lot of new exciting books that we can take a look at together in detail. And to help me film all of that, I have kindly been offered the help of my lovely boyfriend Ryan, reporting for duty. So without further ado, let's get into the bookshelf tour. So we'll start on this shelf and make our way down. My process for doing this organization was basically vibes and color. So as you can see, we've got blues, then like blacks and reds, and then a little bit of purples and pinks. And obviously the books that I really like, I've tried to face out or put more of at the centerpiece. So that's kind of the vibe I was going for. So to help get to the top, I have this little stool. Come here. So on the top shelf I have the Fairyloot Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart, and these are stunning. I just haven't actually read these yet. This is an epic fantasy trilogy and it's been on my radar for a very long time. I literally just bought the audiobook in a sale on Audible, so I hope to get to that soon. But I really love the way all of them kind of like get darker with each book. A Fate Inked in Blood, but the Fairyloot edition, she's so stunning, and I got a chance to meet the author and she wrote a quote in my book for me: "You are mine, born in fire," even if only the two of us know it. If you like a fantasy romance with lots of tension, angst, they hate each other but have to work together, then this one is perfect. A lot of these that I faced out, I've tried to put books behind it to, you know, not lose out on any space, but I see I've forgotten to put some here. What the River Knows, you'll see that I have about 100 copies of this book because I loved it so much. This is the Owl Crate edition, which I managed to find on Vinted for like £15, and I think that's so reasonable. But this is an Egyptian inspired fantasy. It's like super whimsical. There's an Egyptian secret at the heart of this book that our main characters are trying to figure out, and it has something to do with Cleopatra, which was a really fun storyline. The guy in it also reminded me of Will Herondale mixed with Jax from Once Upon a Broken Heart, so big points for that. Then we have Sword of Kaigen by Emma Wang. This is my annotated copy. Ryan's actually read this book. Ryan, what did you think?
It was crazy.
It was crazy?
The fight scene was unreal. I was so locked in.
I
like
really
hours.
can't wait to reread this one day with you. Or maybe if it gets picked up for traditional publishing, we can
there's too much in this world. It needs more stories.
Yeah, but I think it should get like re-edited when it gets traditionally published.
Does it need it?
I think that would be good because then potentially she could write a sequel. I need more Misaki, I miss her so much. Then we have my Proof of Silver Elite, which I tabbed. I literally read this on one flight to Mexico in February, and Ryan can vouch that this happened because we were on the flight for like 11-12 hours. But I love this book so much. I think it's one of my favourite reads of the year just because of how fun it was and how different it is to everything else that I've read. I also really can't wait for the sequel of that. I've got an original copy of City of Bones. A fun fact, this is one of the first books like from the YA genre that I ever read, and I bought this book for like 50p. Look how gross it is. It's so gross. I got it from a car boot sale. I just saw it and I was like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. Turns out it's like the first editions of all the first editions of this book, and I got it for 50p. So when I met Cassandra Clare, she signed it for me. And then we have some more Fairyloot editions. We've got Temptation of Magic. I really like this. I rated it 3.75 stars. I am really looking forward to the sequel. It was like set in the UK and it was all about like supernatural art and art history. It had a really interesting premise, so I'm excited to see where it goes. But She Is Wrath by Emily Varga. This one's for the angry girls. I also really love this art style and this edition in general. It's so pretty. You'll notice a theme. I really like special editions. I got a copy of The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. This one's a bit different to the other books that I've read, and I've never read a Joe Abercrombie book, but this was the first book in the Fairyloot Epic Fantasy subscription, and seeing all the artwork inside, I am really excited to read this.
Ooh.
And I think maybe you can read it with me.
I like the art.
Maybe. And it has more art in the back as well, which is just like, does it? Oh yeah.
Oh.
Art in the back. I love this. Firebird by Juliet Cross. I was excited to read this because this edition is so stunning. I love this redesigned cover that Fairyloot went for. But then all the reviews have been really not great. So it's made me not really want to pick it up yet, but I'll see in future. Then we have just my standard editions of Road of Bones and Kingdom of Claw. This is a Norse, like Viking inspired fantasy romance series, and I actually have heard incredibly good things. Also haven't got around to reading these yet. So on this shelf I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. Not too bad, so some of them are still on my TBR. For my second shelf I've got the Fairyloot Divine Rivals set. These are some of my most favourite editions that I own. I love them so much. I love this series so much, and I love Rebecca Ross. I luckily got to meet her the other day and I'm still not over it. If you haven't read these books, you need to. I like to change whether I face these out this way or this way, so today let's do this way with the sprayed edges out. Got this cute little candle tea light thing that's like Babel inspired. A limited edition of The Night Circus. I haven't read this book, but I really want to. I've heard incredible things about Erin Morgenstern, but just haven't got around to reading any of their books yet. Fairyloot Babel. I like that Fairyloot went for a lighter kind of palette, and this edition is stunning. I really liked Babel, and I love facing it out this way. It's so pretty.
The same with the candle.
Oh yeah, and it goes with the candle. You're so right, I forgot. Then we've got some Ava Reid books. I've got the Illumicrate Wolf and the Woodsman. They did this in like 2022, and it was the first Ava Reid book like I ever read, and I read it mainly because of this art. Like, it's so yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then we have A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. I took off the dust jacket because I love this kind of like architectural design that they've gone for. Overall, just love the look of this. And when I did have more space, I did face it out, but now she's got to stay in because shelf economy. And then I've got this little Illumicrate book pot. They add these into their book boxes every like couple of months, so I've been collecting them for a while, but yeah, I absolutely love it. Then we have a proof of Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. This was one of like 100 that they did. I've got number 40 and she dedicated it to me. Super lovely story. I love that this was a standalone. It was like an epic love story across thousands and thousands of years about two people who were tied together by fate. And this proof is just so stunning. They've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. A really good standalone, to be fair, if you're looking to kind of like have a one and done. Then we've got the Dagger in the Flame Fairyloot edition. Obviously faced out this way because I love the sprayed edges. And then we have the Caraval Special Edition like deluxe set. So they all have on the hardback like a different setting from the book. So this one's Kasabian's Clocks, and I don't regret getting these because I love Caraval. My Illumicrate A River Enchanted books, or the series actually known as Elements of Cadence. And I got these in my Illumicrate box in 2022 or 2023, and when I finally came around to reading Divine Rivals, I was so happy that I already owned these because I was like, oh my god, I didn't realise like Rebecca Ross's writing was so beautiful. But yeah, this is a series that I always recommend. It's so whimsical, it's beautiful, like it has the most tender love story, and you can never go wrong with a Rebecca Ross book, really.
I like this one.
You like this one?
Details.
It is so nice, and when you open it you get the full shebang. What book is this? This is the Illumicrate Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan, and I haven't read this one yet. So I'm sorry, she's just an art piece on the shelf, unfortunately, but I am excited to get to it. We've got Fairyloot, The God and the Gummy-Ho, another one I haven't read, but everyone tells me that I'm going to love this. On the back I have more. I have Darker by 4 by June C.L. Tan, one that I got in a Fairyloot box but still haven't managed to pick up. I feel like I've not seen that many people talk about this one, but I will at some point pick it up. And on the back I've actually got Forged by Blood by Ehigbo Okoson, but I've put this dust jacket on it because I needed somewhere to store it. Another one I haven't read, but I've met this author in real life and she was so lovely, and I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to read your book. I love this shelf so much. I love the colours. I love my little jelly cat. Well, it's actually not a jelly cat, it's a palm pal.
You got that one for me.
Oh. Thank you, Ryan, for your contribution to my shelf. Oh, this is your contribution to my shelf?
Yeah.
Rock is this?
Obsidian.
Obsidian. Obsidian by Jennifer Armentrout is one of my favourite books. Okay, let's get to it. I've got the fairyloot edition of The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. I love it. It's a pirate book. It's an older main character. Look at this freaking map.
Oh,
It's so pretty. I know you love a map. I actually haven't read this yet, but I've heard the audiobook is incredible and like super immersive. Then we have The Half King by Melissa Landers. I read the blurb of this one when I got it. Oh my god, look at this art. I read the blurb of this and I was like, this sounds really good, and then I never read it. So yeah, disappointed in myself, but excited to get to it at some point. The Waterstones exclusive of The Hurricane Wars by Taya Guanzon. Oh, with some random art inside from the author herself. Another fantastic map. This is a Filipino inspired fantasy romance, and I actually met her and she was so cute. I do love book 2 way more than book 1, so if you go into it, just know it gets better. Rose in Chains, a Limerick Crate edition. This is a very new addition to my shelf. I love this artist. I think they're called like Elythian. Yeah, this is a stunning edition. It's signed. I'm so glad I got it. What does it have on the naked? Oh, look at that, it's so nice. This is me with every book. It's so nice. You know, some books you buy and like you just don't regret it. I have so many copies of it, but I don't regret it. And then we have the fairyloot editions of Belladonna. Belladonna was in like the 2022 box maybe, but a really great gothic fantasy, and I've not read anything else like it. They have like a murder mystery element to them, and I really like that fairyloot kept the flowers going on the sprayed edges, so they just look so nice faced out like that. We have another book pot from my Limerick Crate. It's a dry flowers going everywhere. It's a gothic romance one, so that's a great library's gothic romance, and I think it just adds something so nice to the shelf. Then we also have a flower pot, which I've used as a decoration, but I just really like it. I recently read this book. I'm gonna talk about this in my next video, but this is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. She is so good. I also read Alchemy of Secrets. This is my proof. This one comes out in October, but I really enjoyed it. We also have The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. Like, such a super cozy fantasy. This is the fairyloot edition. The Limerick Crate edition of The Irresistible Urge to Fall in Love by, oh no, that's not even the right title. The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. But look what it does. It's because in this book she helps heal his like magical channels in his body. It's like she's a doctor. So isn't that so smart? This is like, it's clear, but it like
Outside the box.
It's outside the box. This is what I'm saying. And yeah, the art's so good in it. I love this book. I love this book a lot. And we have my normal editions of Once Upon a Broken Heart, but it's signed. I met Stephanie Garber and I was like, please can you sign it for Jax's True Love? Just the Ballad of Never After. I like to store random things in my book. For these editions they did 4 different foil designs on each book, so then when you bought it you didn't know which one you got, and I was really happy to get the dragon. And I actually got an edition where she put loads of hearts on it, so that's really fun. I need to pick up those things off the floor. Oh, it's like an Evangeline playing card. Can you see it? Last but not least, A Curse of True Love. I wish this book was like 500 pages longer. Just a standard signed, and I have the sword one, or knife. I don't know what that is. Quickly shove back in, guys. I don't have a tripod, so Ryan's actually just holding the camera for me. Thank you, Ryan. Oh no, wrong way. And then on the side we have Tales of the Celestial Kingdom by Sulin Tan. This is the fairyloot edition, obviously, and super stunning. This is like a novella that goes with Daughter of the Moon Goddess. And then we've got Immortal by Sulin Tan, the Waterstones exclusive. I read this, I had the fairyloot, but I was like, I think I need the Waterstones exclusive for the sprayed edge. Listen, I could have worse problems. All the fairyloot Once Upon a Broken Heart books, and these are also lovely and they're signed. And my favourite part is that on the naked hardback, this is like a book within the book. So in the book they reference the Ballad of the Archer and the Fox, and they put it on the, oh, I think that's just so smart. I really like that. and they've done it for each one of them. So this one also has a book from the book The Inglorious History of the House of Slaughterwood. I miss these characters so much. The greatest love story ever told, the tale of Evangeline Fox and Apollo Arcadian. I love this shelf. Like I said, I just think it's so whimsy, it's so bright, it's so beautiful, and one of my proudest creations. Fairyloot, Son of Blood and Ruin. I haven't read this one, but I love that. I think it's Mexican inspired, and there's a Quetzal on it, and we went to Mexico this year. Did we see a Quetzal?
No.
We didn't see it?
No.
Is it not a Quetzal?
Yeah, we did. We
did see a Quetzal.
Yeah, we did. In Chichen Itza.
Then I have my American editions of What the River Knows and Where the Library Hides. So that's the same book as that Owl Crate edition you saw up there, but I think the author sent this to me when her book 2 came out, and they came signed, and I was like, Isabel Ibanez, you're so freaking cute. I actually haven't read this one yet, but it's high on my TBR because I loved book 1, like 5 stars, one of my favourite books of the year.
But it's not on the it's not on the TBR cart.
It's not on the TBR cart because I can't fit like all of the hardbacks on there. Like, you see, like I can't put like double hardback rows.
Okay. Okay, back to the tour.
I'm like, hey, you're going off script. Maybe I'll do a separate video where I like redo my TBR cart and actually... No, you know what? Bought everything on there I need to read anyway. I just need another cart. But you can push it around the house for me. Immortal, but the Fairyloot edition. So it's the same book as that one, but it's Fairyloot. It's so pretty. I know I keep saying that, but I love the redesigned covers because then it's kind of worth collecting more than one copy if you're really into the book. And I actually got to meet her, and she put, it was such a pleasure to meet you. Sulintai, I love you. Behind, I've got my Plated Prisoner books. They're so chunky.
That is fat.
You could, yeah, this one I think is one of the biggest ones, but you could really take someone out with that. So you better be careful. No, I'm joking. No, it means I'll protect us from the robbers. Okay, then we have the... What is this? This is the TikTok shop exclusive, actually, of Daughter of the Moon Goddess, because TikTok shop, HarperCollins on TikTok shop do special editions sometimes, so I had to get it because it was so pretty. And also I love Su Lin Tan. Su Lin Tan is just also another very whimsical writer, and she draws a lot from Chinese mythology, so she's just up there, one of my faves. This is the Fairyloot edition, and also one of my favourite editions they've ever done. I love the artwork inside, and it's just so stunning. I spaced them out because I kind of like the whimsy look of the flowers. My Lumicrate Watermoon, I took off the dust jacket because I just like how that title looks there. I love this one also, a great standalone. If you're also looking for something very whimsical, you can see what kind of books I'm into. The Fairyloot editions of Legendborn, I actually haven't read Bloodmarked or Oathbound, but I have read Legendborn about 3 times because it's been, I think I read it in 2020 or 2021 and loved it so much, but we had to wait so long for Bloodmarked. It's actually signed, and yeah, I love how kind of vibrant they are. This one's pretty, isn't it? It is The Girl with No Reflection by Keshi Chow. This is also the Fairyloot edition. I haven't read it. It's on my TBR. I haven't heard that many people talk about this one, but I really want to get around to it. The Will of the Many by James Islington is one that I think we should read together.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's like epic fantasy. Like if you liked Red Rising, apparently this is like a good one to go on to.
Okay.
And it's adult fantasy, and the sequel's coming out soon, so let's read it together. Fairyloot edition of Air by Saba Tahir. I devoured An Ember in the Ashes within the space of like, you know, 2 months or something. This is the spin-off, and I love what they've done with this edition. I really hope they'll do matching ones for An Ember in the Ashes though. Then we have the Just Sad Air. This is on my TBR for September, and no, I haven't read it yet, but I actually bought these just dust jackets from a Lumicrate. So this is the normal cover, and this is like the optional dust jacket that you could get added on. So I was like, excuse me, this artwork is insane, and it came the same for book 2 as well. So I thought that was really nice for a Lumicrate to do that on top. Add a little pizzazz to the duology. Then we have the Fairyloot edition of the Hurricane Wars. I love this artwork. This is what I mean. They just keep doing alternative covers, and then it's like, okay, well, I am paying for something a bit different. I love the artwork inside of it. Hello everyone, welcome to the bottom bit of my shelf.
It's very autumnal.
It is more autumnal, so we're getting, this is like my September-October shelf, but we have Rose in Chains, the fairyloot edition. I think I actually prefer the Illumicrate version just because the Elethian art is like so nice on the cover. But yeah, I think I like that it's signed and it has really nice artwork all round. I can't wait for the sequel. This book was so good. Book of Azrael, the trilogy, and I started reading this. I loved that it was kind of like urban fantasy romance, and all of the hardbacks have this spicy drawing. Did you know that, right?
I do now.
And this one is so thick. What the freak? What does it have to say? It's got a lot to say. I'm really excited to read all of these. Oh, I picked up this art from somewhere. But I like the vibes. I've also just heard such good things about Amber V. Nicole's writing in general. Silvercloak, but I don't know what edition this is. I think it's just the normal edition. Look at this map. I love it when it gives like Lord of the Ring vibe. I'm actually halfway through this book at the moment and I'm really enjoying it. There's like a magical detective agency. They use magic but they also have wands. Then I have this like anniversary edition of City of Bones, which I also managed to get signed when I met Cassie Clare. She was really lovely. Oh my god, 15th anniversary, I didn't realise. So I do actually have books 2, 3 and 4 and they're down there. So I want to put them together at some point, but there's no space. We're at the gates. This is just the regular edition by Scarlett St. Clair, and it has this map on the underneath the dust jacket, and also the hardback has foiling. So that's quite a nice normal edition of this book. I also really like that book. 4.5 stars. We have Best Hacks Ever, the Illumicrate edition by Nadia Al-Fassi. This is like a cozy fantasy, Moroccan inspired, just so lovely. If you love descriptions of baked goods, you'll be so hungry reading this. A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. I haven't read this. This is the Fairyloot edition, but I've heard it's like Six of Crows vibe. Fairyloot editions of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I love this series. I love Emily and Wendell. And I also got these like page overlays to put in the book, and they tell you which chapter to put the overlays in. So I've slotted them all in, which is cute. So I can't wait to read these one day. No wait, reread this one day. I have read number 1, number 2, but I've not read number 3, which is why I've got it facing out, because I'm like, Sam, you need to read this right now. But cozy season's coming up, so that's on my radar. Behind Emily Wilde book 3, I have the normal edition of Emily Wilde book 2. I just really like the green. I think I got sent this, so I'm like, yeah, I really like it. I just want to keep every edition. But that's just the normal edition. The covers are so pretty. Proof of Immortal by Sulin Tan. I feel like I've spoken about this book so many times, but this is the copy that I read. And did I manage to get this signed? I did. She put, you are all of
I'm glad she types.
No, she has nice writing, I just can't read it. And then book 2, Heart of the Sun Warrior, which is the sequel to Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This is the TikTok shop edition, and then this is the Fairyloot edition. I just find that the orange didn't go on that shelf, so I had to put it separately, but I do still really love this. So slotting them back in the way they came. I just like the shelf. I like that it adds a different vibe. I think there's a little bit of change ups I could definitely do to make it even nicer, but for now that's looking good. This is my Quicksilver Proof. This is the edition that I read, and I met her, she signed it for me. These are the City of Bones Fairyloot exclusives, and I like that the spines match up and they've done something different on each of them. And you've got like Cassandra Clare's stamp and a quote on the back. Like that, all of them line up like that. They just look so good with each character. Jace, Clary, probably Simon, yeah. Alec, Isabel. This is my Illumicrate of the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I love this book. It was one of my first ever Illumicrate books I ever got. Then I've got my normal copies of Poppy War. I got this for like £2 in the shop, and I did get it signed. Me and Ryan have read Poppy War together, but we actually haven't continued on with the series, so that's a shame, but at some point we will. These are Ryan's Mistborn books, so Ryan finally has a shelf.
A shelf? I haven't got a shelf, I've got tiny spot in a shelf.
And he didn't even read these editions because he read them on Kindle, but he read them all in like a week in Mexico.
Yeah.
So you are actually a big reader. Normal edition of Shield of Sparrows. God damn, this book is a brick. Fantasy romance could definitely have been shorter though. Then I have some randoms here that I really love. It's my proof of Best Hex Ever by Nadia Alfassi, which was that book there, and it's the copy that I read as well. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This is also a proof that my friend had a spare. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. This is the proof that I read, and it has my quote on the back, which is so cute. So yeah, I'm really grateful that they included me because I loved the first book, which is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. My proof of Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Read, devoured, love everything Ashley Poston. My proof of Bat Eater by Kylie Lee Baker. One of the only horror books I've ever read, but I love that this was kind of like a cross between horror and lit fic. I would definitely recommend it. My proof of Watermoon. I also loved this. Like I said before, it's just a really great standalone, but yeah, this cover is so like Studio Ghibli-esque. In the corner I've got my Samantha Shannon book, so I've got a proof of the Among the Burning Flowers, the Bone Season 10th anniversary I believe, and then we've got the Bone Season like hardbacks. I think I got these all signed when I met Samantha Shannon. Yeah, she put a quote in it. These are actually on my list to read, but I haven't read them yet. Onto my second shelf. I also adore this shelf. My brother, in fact, loves this shelf so much he gave me a review, so I'll insert the clip a bit later on. So up here we have some of my paperbacks. I've got a proof of Heavenly Bodies, and I did get to meet and interview Imani Eri, and she was so lovely. I'm so excited for Fallen Stars. The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Duff, read and loved. The Reaper by Jackson P. Brown. This Monster of Mine. Also met the author recently and she signed my book. Oh, I also met Jackson P. Brown. She also signed my book. The Warm Hands of Ghost by Catherine Arden. I really need to read this like this autumn. I've heard it's amazing. And then I've got my copies of An Ember in the Ashes and A Torch Against the Night, which is book 1 and book 2. Fairyloot When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I haven't read this one, but I really adore this edition, and I've heard from my friends that it's lyrical, it's beautiful, but I've also heard mixed things in general. So I'm kind of nervous to start. Kiki's Delivery Service by Aika Kadono. This is the Fairyloot edition. I got it because I just think this is a timeless classic. I wanted a timeless classic edition. Normal copy of A Fate Inked in Blood, and oh, some art inside from the author, and she did sign my book. I really like this cover, so that's why I'm keeping it, because the Fairyloot edition is nice, but this cover is also just stunning. This is the Broken Binding Blood Over Brighthaven, which I got because I love MR1. Ryan hasn't read this one yet. You've only read Sword of Tiger, but it should be on your list. Stunning. This is A Feather So Black. I took off the dust jacket, not sure where it is, but this is also on my TBR. And we've got the Fairyloot editions of The Raven Boys. I've taken off the dust jackets because I just really like the silver foiling that they've gone with. The art inside is so good, and this is just like a classic series. I feel like that's why I got the Fairyloot editions.
It's shiny. It
is, I know, I love it. All the spines kind of line up to make trees, but I like facing this one out because it looks pretty. A normal edition of Quicksilver. But the normal edition is like foiled and has a reverse dust jacket. I've read this twice now, and I did meet Callie Hart and I got to interview her. I think that interview's online somewhere. I know you want to watch it, Ryan, you missed it. Then we have a normal edition of Silver Elite, or maybe this is the Waterstones exclusive. I love this book. Moving on to the second shelf, one of my brother's favourite shelves, we've got Little Devil Egg. This is my Fairyloot edition of This Monster of Mine by Shalini Abisikara, but I took the dust jacket off because this is so nice. Love this book. Behind we've got Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan, which I haven't read, but this is the Fairyloot edition. And then behind that we've got A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen. I believe this is the Waterstones exclusive, and I also got it signed. Right at the back we have A Monsoon Rising by Tae Gwanson. So this is the one I was saying is the sequel to the Hurricane Wars, and this is the fairyloot edition because it has like the different alternative cover. Oh, that sound is so satisfying, like ASMR book organizing. The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnson, fairyloot edition. Heard mixed things, but obsessed with the artwork on this. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight. It won't go in. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This is also the fairyloot edition. So stunning. Toxic lesbian vampires told across centuries, told across time. A very timeless story that I think I'll be thinking about probably forever. Spells for Forgetting by Adrian Young. I haven't read this, but I've heard amazing things about Adrian Young. So this is like interconnected standalones. These are the fairyloot editions. So pretty. I hope to read these this autumn as well. They're kind of in my like priority autumn TBR. A Song of Legends Lost, the Illumicrate edition. I never actually finished this one, but I really need to get back to it because the world was really interesting.
Yeah, the cover looks cool. Yeah,
I really like the magic system. I think you'd like it. I read about 100 pages and then forgot to go back. A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek. This is the Illumicrate edition and I just really like the redesigned cover they've gone for. Oh, what's that? Another edition of What the River Knows. This is the Fairyloot one and I like that they've gone for like really soft colours. Foiling's gorgeous. I still need to read the sequel. My fairyloot editions of Only a Monster. I think this series is so underrated. It's like people who have magic to travel back through time, but to travel back through time you have to steal that time from other people, like steal it off their like lifespan. So I love magic that comes with a cost. This is This Woven Kingdom by Tara Murphy, but it's the Illumicrate edition. Isn't she stunning? I'm currently reading book 3 and it's so good. Her writing is just fabulous. This is my fairyloot edition of Heavenly Bodies by Amani Eri. I took off the dust jacket, but I'm just so obsessed with what they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah? My brother said the same thing. Super gorgeous, super stunning. And I think I got this one signed. Oh yeah, she signed it on the side for me. Then we have A Language of Dragons by Essa Williamson and The Starlight Air by Emily Howard. These are all the fairyloot editions. But like I said before, we have to do this, otherwise the books would be all over the floor. The Illumicrate edition of The Principal Moments by Esme Chikini Pearson. She is such an underrated writer. This was an excellent sci-fi and I'm so excited for her new book Gutter Witch. Ryan, what's this rock?
That
a geode?
One? Yeah, it's just crystal.
What's this?
I don't know what that
So you
one
have
is.
all these rocks and you don't even know what they are. At least I know what these books are. This is another edition of What the River Knows, but it's the Barnes & Noble exclusive. So my friend Sarah kindly bought this for me and I really wanted it because it had this character art in it. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, this bit's interesting because I've put two different series together. This is the A Deal with the Elf King, but the Fairyloot edition. I got it mainly because this art is just so stunning, and it goes along with this one, which is A Dance with the Fae Prince, and this one, which is A Duel with the Vampire Lord. But I put them out like this because their sprayed edges are so beautiful. And then in between, I have the Fairyloot Iron editions of The Cruel Prince. Are they not so good? And they have this like gold edge and it has a letter bound in from the author, and all in all I just think this edition is gorgeous. So I've got that for The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King. Oh no, the foil!
What happened there?
I think it just, maybe it ran out at the printer. The Queen of Nothing and The King of Elfhame. I am a Fairyloot ambassador, so if you want any books from the Fairyloot shop or if you're pre-ordering, you can use Sam10 for money off. So definitely use that. I don't get anything from it, but make those savings because these books are expensive sometimes. I've got an indie copy of Diabound by Sable Sorensen. This is on my TBR for September. I'm really excited to read it. I haven't got a finished like traditional published copy yet, but maybe I'll just read that one. And then I have a proof of The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillick. Rachel Gillick. I read this one on one flight to Thailand. Ryan can verify that because he was there.
Another flight, another book.
Another flight, another book. And then the fairyloot edition of The Night and the Moth. I'm obsessed with this, hence why it's facing out. I just think everything about this is just too good and suits the book perfectly. We have Where Shadows Meet by Patrice Caldwell. This is the fairyloot edition and one that I haven't read yet. Broken Souls and Bones by LJ Andrews. Another one I haven't read but looks stunning. Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. I loved The Atlas 6, I loved Alone with You in the Ether, I loved Masters of Death, but I haven't read any of her new books yet, so that is one on the TBR. The Raven Scholar, which is the Illumicrate edition. I've heard incredible things about this, haven't got around to it. She is chunky though. The Glittering Edge by Elisa Valère. I've actually heard incredible things about this one as well. It's a YA fantasy, but apparently just like so addictive. Such a good story. It's witchy. Could be a good contender for this autumn. We have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I love you, Rebecca. This is the TikTok shop exclusive again, and it has a quote on the edge that says, "I want my words to be like a line cast out into the darkness," which is such a beautiful quote. And the second one has the same thing. Sword Catcher, Illumicrate edition. I got, yeah, she a fatty. I just at the time really wanted it because I like Cassandra Clare, but I haven't read The Rag Picker King yet, and it has been out for a few days. Immortal Dark by Tigris Gamma. This is the fairyloot edition, and I like that they've gone for like naked foiling. It's very pretty. Gotta put my lovely little rocks back. Down here we have the Fairyloot Faybound, and I just think this colourway is super stunning. This is by Star Elarifi. I love it when they have the signature page on the end papers, and then they've gone for like really nice colourway for book 2. So I'm interested to see what they'll do for book 3. The Floating World by Axie O. This is such a magical edition. It's, yeah, the Fairyloot edition, and I just think that everything about it is perfect and very Studio Ghibli vibes. This is Air of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray.
Another one.
It's the same artist that did that one, so yeah, they made this look so nice. Like, look at that. I read this, really enjoyed it, like such a good YA fantasy. Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. This is the Illumicrate edition. Haven't read it yet, but also a great contender for this autumn. Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow. Another one that's a Fairyloot edition that I haven't read. And finally, The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart. Another Fairyloot adult pick, I believe, from last year, but I haven't read it yet. I also haven't seen that many people talk about it. It's the same author who wrote Bone Shard Daughter up there, but I've never read any of her work, but collecting her books apparently. The Scorpion and the Night Blossom by Amelie Wenzhou. This one is another stunning one. Haven't seen too many people talking about it, but like a romantasy kind of vibe. The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is one of my favourite books of all time. Like, I love this duology. This is the Fairyloot edition, and she's just so stunning in pink. The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. I read earlier this year and really enjoyed it. So I'll definitely be picking up the sequel when that's out. Then we have the Fairyloot Powerless trilogy. These are just, yeah, I love what they've done with it. I like the normal covers, but these are just so much nicer, like has given the books way more personality. I've only read Powerless, and I think I listened to the audiobook and I really like the narrators, but just never made it on to the other two, but I have them just in case. This is a proof of A Monsoon Rising by Tia Guanzon. Did I get this signed? Have I seen her? No, I haven't seen her since I read this, but I love this one so much more than book 1. And we have my proofs of I like to just keep things in the book. These are my proofs of The Crimson Moth and The Rebel Witch, and I remember meeting Kristen Ciccarelli, but I didn't have any of my books with me, so she signed this like piece of card.
You got 2?
Yeah, so I could cut it and I could put it in both books. I didn't even have like sticky labels that I could use. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I did meet Sangu Mandana when she did a tour. Yeah, I know, because it's a witchy book. She was so lovely. I love her so much. This is Iron and Embers by Helen Scheurer. This is the Fairyloot edition, and I like that they've gone for this like plant vibe, because she's an people who work with
Make potions.
Yeah, potions. What's the word for that? Apothecary.
You're on the right round.
I'm on the right
I can't speak.
The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson, and it's the fairyloot edition. She's so pretty, but like I didn't like this book. I'm finding it in my heart to part ways with her, but she can stay back here while I decide if I'm reading book 2. This is the Fairyloot Ashley Poston set, and I love them. This is the Romantics, the 7 Years Slip. They're all signed and they all have really cute artwork on the front that relates back to the story. And they also did a novel love story as well, which is so nice. This is the Illumicrate Loathe to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. This goes with these other books. This is a proof of Game On by Kai Stevens, which is a sports romance. I also have my Fragile Sanctuary, like Sparrow Falls series by Catherine Cowles. It's like a romance suspense series and I love it. And then I have my Paisley Hope books, which is Holding the Reins, and they're all cowboy romances, but I haven't read them yet. But we are going to Dubrovnik soon, so I might take one of them with us. The Fairyloot Chestnut Springs. Did you guys see that they're also getting adapted into a TV series or a movie? So on the front they all have a bit of like cartoon art, and then on the hardback is a setting from the book. So this one's Wishing Well Ranch, which is just such a nice touch, and then all of them have a different sprayed edge relating back to the story as well. Favorite one has to be Reckless, even though I don't like this like composition, but this is my favorite book. Annoyingly, Hopeless is my least favorite, but I like this the most. Do you agree? You're like nodding. I'm like, First Time Caller by BK Borison. This is the Afterlight exclusive and it is really lovely. I'm really excited for when they do the matching sequel, because look at that. Like, they're on a radio show. That's like the perfect artwork. Love Hypothesis, but the Illumicrate edition. So they originally just did this, like the normal cover in a different colorway, and then they released these dust jackets. So I was like, oh hell yes, like that. This is the vibe. This is the vibe I like. It's like simple, it's cute, it's clean, and I'm very excited for that movie with Lily Reinhart in it. So that's Love Theoretically, and excuse me, Mr. Eggplant. Got Deep End, not my favorite, but I have to say Love Theoretically probably is my favorite. The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. These are also the Afterlight exclusives, and I really like that they look simple, like they suit the story and they have character art. I think those are my 3 favorite things on a romance like special edition. Then the last 2 is Cross the Line by Simone Saltani. This is an F1 romance and it's also the Afterlight edition. I don't like the sprayed edge because it looks like a children's play mat.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like that mat
like from Ikea
that everyone had.
And then Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson. I like that this is a Scottish romance, and I haven't read it yet, but it looks really sweet.
Loch Ness.
Yeah, isn't it cute?
Nessie.
Fantasy to romantasy to like pinks and
Pastels.
pastels. Yeah, exactly. Ryan doesn't like this shelf, but
Pastels.
they have to go somewhere. They have to go somewhere. Build me more shelves, please, and then we can kind of move things around. So down here I have some normal paperbacks. I've got A River Enchanted. You saw these ones as the Illumicrate editions, and these are just the normal paperbacks, but they did get signed when I met Rebecca Ross the other day. I'm so obsessed with her. Threads That Bind by Kikatsu Polly. And then I've got this other series by Rebecca Ross, which I haven't read yet, but I'm really excited to get to. And of course I have normal paperbacks of Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This one is the sequel to Threads That Bind. I haven't read it yet, but I actually loved this book. I think I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. I'm that person that has like sequel anxiety, where I loved the first book so much and then I just never read the sequel. It's becoming a big problem for me. The Fairyloot Gilded Wolves set by Roshani Shotsky. I've heard this one is also like a Six of Crows vibe. I haven't read these, but I love that like they all just look so uniform together. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is the Afterlight exclusive. I loved Bride. I can't wait to read Mate. I have Fourth Wing, but the Thai edition, and it has this like gold sprayed edge. It's all in Thai. In Thai it's called Phad Wing. I just was hoping to read a fantasy book in Thai and I thought this one could be it. On the front it said Yard Kai Gwa Song Lan Lem Tua Log, which means it sold over 2 million copies. over the entire world. Watch Me by Tahira Murphy. I interviewed her earlier this year and she signed my book, and I'm really excited for book 2. I love that she's revisiting the Shatter Me universe. A normal copy of Juniper and Thorn, and then, oh my god, I actually love these books so much. These are the Winners this is the Winners trilogy by Marie Rutkowski, and it's got that Elythian art that I was talking about, like just super lovely character art. I love this series. It's a 5-star series. I think it's kind of underrated. I definitely want to bring it back, and I'm really tempted to do a reread. Ryan's actually clocked off from his shift so let's finish this together. This is The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. It is like a fantasy but with animals. So she looks after a magical zoo. One that I actually haven't read yet. I was gonna read it last year in the autumn time, but actually didn't get around to it. So I hope this year I will pick it up. Then I have the fairyloot editions of the Dark Elements series by Jennifer Armentrout. This is one of my OG favorites from maybe like 2015, like that kind of era. It's a paranormal romance with like demons and gargoyles, so I had to get it just because it's just so nostalgic to me. Where the Dark Stands Still, but the Waterstones exclusive, I believe, by A.B. Paranik. So all that's left is this bottom shelf, and I don't know what's the best way to film this because I'm on my own. Sorcery and Small Magics, the Fairyloot edition. I read this recently, absolutely loved it. I feel like it's so underrated. It's cozy fantasy with 2 magicians, and one of them is cursed to obey the other one's every like command, but they actually hate each other, so that made for an interesting and very banter filled story. So I love this. I think there's going to be a book 2 and book 3, but no news yet. The favorites, this is the Waterstones exclusive, and I adored this. I'd say it's very much on the same line as Daisy Jones and the Six, but it's ice skaters and it's so filled with drama. Like one of my favorite books of 2024, and one that I need to talk about way more. Okay, we're gonna do it this way around. No face, no case. These are my Illumicrate editions of the Bridgerton series, and I got them because they are just so stunning and they line up to make the Bridgerton house. I actually have never read these books, but I mean, one day I'm excited for Bridgerton season 3. Got a couple of Thai books in here, so when I go to Thailand to visit my family, I like to pick up some translated books. This one is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, I believe, and in Thai it's calledก่อนที่ฉันจะได้บอกลา, which means just before I say goodbye. I have this book. It's actually not a translated book, but it made me laugh because it has this little man lying on the floor called ยังไม่ทันเข้างานก็อยากกลับบ้านแล้ว, which means I've just got into work and I already want to go home. Relatable. And the last one is ถ้าโลกนี้ไม่มีแมว, which is I think if the world didn't have cats. I think this is translated, but I don't know what from. Oh, and I've got some cute pictures from Korea. This is the Illumicrate edition of Goddess of the River, one that I haven't heard too much about. I like the premise, and I'm always looking to diversify the stories I'm reading, so this is one of the ones I'd like to keep to get to. Another edition of Best Text Ever, because I love Nadia Al-Fassi and I love this story. It's so cozy. Another copy of A Song of Legends Lost by M.H. Ayinde, one that I said that I need to still finish. Skip Shock by Caroline O'Donoghue. This sounds like a really cute YA fantasy, but also with a really interesting concept. So in this world, like depending on how you travel and where you are, time either moves faster or slower, and then she goes into how time is a privilege, and you know, people who live in a place where there's more hours in a day obviously can do more. Not like what Molly May said, not everyone has 24 hours in a freaking day. This is the Broken Binding edition of Legends and Lattes. Legends and Lattes was my first cozy fantasy read, and so I'll always have fond memories of reading this book, and I wanted a cute little special edition. We have Ambessa by C.L. Clarke. C.L. Clarke is an author who I want to read, but I've never got round to reading. The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. I love this book, but I haven't read the sequel or the third book yet. The sequel is The Oleander Sword. These are the Illumicrate editions. They're signed and they have a nice sprayed edge. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This is one of my favourite reads of the year. It was such a good thriller. She has branched out into adult thriller, and that one is so pacey, so addictive. Like, definitely top 10 of this year. 5 Broken Blades by Maya Corlin. This is just a standard edition, but I did spill like loads of coffee on it. Look, I know, I can't believe it. Behind these we have my hardbacks of book 3 and book 4 from An Ember in the Ashes. This one is the Waterstones exclusive, and I did find a signed one in the shop. Back here we have, this is a series I want to start. It's called A Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill, and it's part of the Bound and the Broken series. I found the Forbidden Planet signed editions online, so I quickly snagged those. Yeah, they're signed. My friend Jess loves the series, so I really want to read it. This is book 3. Then we have a proof of Not Quite Dead Yet, an indie copy of Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider, and then the Blood and Steel series. What's this called? The Legends of Tesma. I actually got to book 3 and then didn't read book 4. Oh, why can I not commit to a series properly? I will finish it at some point. I just kind of like lost steam. I was doing them back to back. I thought that they'd get better and better, but I didn't really feel like they did. Back here we have a proof copy of A Dance of Lies, which is a book I really want to read this year. This is a Goldsboro edition of A Study in Drowning that I picked up when I went to the actual physical store, because I finished A Study in Drowning, loved it so much, and then I was like, yeah, I want this. It's 118 out of 2,000 copies. I just love collecting like different editions of my favourite books. This is a proof of Thorn Season by Kira Azar. There she is, the lovely author herself, and I have number 49 out of 100. This is a hardback proof of A Language of Dragons by SF Williamson. I read earlier this year, I believe, or maybe end of last year. It was a very fun YA dragon story, and the author herself is so nice. I then have my paperbacks of Once Upon a Broken Heart. I did meet Stephanie Garber in 2023, so these are all signed. This one for Sam, people who don't like me call me Jax. A Curse for True Love. This one is not signed, so I'm hoping to meet her this year, and if she does a signing then I'll take this along. My Ballad of Never After for Sam. I'm sorry. Another copy that my friend annotated for me, which is super sweet. And then what else do we have? Another copy of The Ballad of Never After, which is a different colour to the other one. And then this one is Once Upon a Broken Heart, but my friend got this sprayed edge like edition for me. I just thought that was so sweet. In the back here is my Jennifer Almond Trout shrine. So we've got Fall of Ruin and Wrath, the Luck series, which is one of my like childhood favorites, and I just can't bring myself to get rid of them. And then again at the bottom I have the Covenant series, and that was one that I went so hard for when I was like 15-16, and I'll probably keep for the rest of my life. I'm sorry, I really want to reread them to see if they're as good as I remember them being back in the day. So I put everything back. You can see it's much more like disorganized compared to all the other shelves. I just kind of need to do like a double stacked row of just for like space reasons. Down here again, similar story. I haven't been able to make it look super aesthetic. We've got a copy of Wolf by Paisley Hope. I read this recently. I really liked it. It's a dark romance, but it's a small town biker romance. I would definitely recommend. I think it's spicy. I think the story's great, and I'll definitely be reading more from Paisley Hope, hopefully her cowboy series. Then we have the paperback versions of the Book of Azrael, which I actually got before I got the hardbacks, so I think I might, you know, sell these at some point, but for now I might just keep them in case I fancy like taking the paperback out of me while I'm, you know, getting through it. This is a proof copy of Silver Cloak by Laura Stephen, and I got it signed a while ago actually. And then I have my paperbacks of This Woven Kingdom and These Infinite Threads. I'm currently reading the third book. And I've got my friend's book Till Death by Basayo Matuluko, and guys, if you're into YA thriller, YA like murder mystery, this one is is honestly such a fun time. At the back we've got Bingsu for Two. This was a really cute contemporary novel. I think I finished it in one sitting. It was so fun. Let's Split Up by Bill Wood, who I love. If you don't follow Bill Wood on TikTok, he is such an inspiration and he is so funny. Not Safe for Work by Nisha J. Tooley. I want to read that at some point. I haven't got round to it. Phantasma and Enchantra. I love these so much. I can't wait for the other books in the series. It is a dark gothic fantasy romance and it's so different from a lot of the other books I've read. A Proof of the Floating World, A Proof of a Fate Forged in Fire, and then my paperback books of the rest of the Plated Prisoner series. And coming here, I like to slot so much paper in between random things. So this Silver Elite is actually the American edition, which my friend Shivam, he was going to visit his wife's family in America, and I was like, please can you get me the American edition of this? So I pre-ordered it to his wife's family's house. Thank you, Kate. These are the Dark Artifices fairyloot editions. So they did these a while ago, and yeah, I think I bought them maybe like 4 years ago. I just don't want to get rid of them. They're really nice. I loved this series when I read it when I was younger. I actually never read the third book, but I'd really like to reread them because I think this one could probably be my second favourite under the Infernal Devices. I'd like to re-experience these. I have a proof copy of Fourth Wing. That will put me on a lot of people's rob lists, but I remember getting this in the post and I was like, I didn't ask for this. It just came from the publisher and I was like, what's their infantry quadrant? Little did I know this was going to be like the next Booktok sensation and sell millions of copies worldwide. But yeah, that was such a nice surprise. May 2023. This is the Illumicrate Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. Another vibey one that could potentially be a good autumn pick. And it has another one of those like see-through covers. Illumicrate, I really like this. Please do more of them. Down here is the rest of my like 5th anniversary set of the Mortal Instruments series. So you have City of Ashes, City of Glass, and City of Fallen Angels. I didn't know they were going to do the rest of the set when I bought the fairyloot set, so now I'm going to have like 2 sets. And at my real home with my family home, I still have all of my childhood copies of this series. And then I complained that I have no space. Speaking of multiple copies, I bought these Forbidden Planet exclusives of the Bone Season books before I had the other hardbacks. So now I just have like 2 hardbacks, but these have flowers on them and I feel like they could be nice to decorate with. I just haven't used them yet. I have this little A Curse of True Love sampler that I got on Stephanie's tour last time and she signed it for me, so now I can't get rid of it. And then down here I have a lot of Litfic, but the other special editions I popped in here are my Mariana Zapata fairyloot. They're like the Mortal editions, so fairyloot sometimes do like romance books like Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is The Wall of Winnipeg. All roads lead here. I have never read a Mariana Zapata book, but that's why I bought them, so that I could maybe one day get to them very, very soon. For my Litfic shelf, I have got some down here. I've got Lonely Castle in the Mirror, which I really want to get to at some point. Everyone's Invited. The Mountains Sing. I picked this up in Waterstones because I saw that it was a signed copy. I read Enter Ghost by Isabella Hamad last year. I rated it 3 stars. I didn't love it that much, but I wanted to read a story by a Palestinian author, so I picked that up. I've got I Want to Die, but I still want to eat the Boki. What else do I want to get to pretty soon? I want to get to Honeybees and Distant Thunder. If any of you guys have read any of these Litfic books, please let me know, so I'll know where to start. The Djinn Waits 100 Years. Department Dalagurt Dream Department Store. I kept seeing this one and my friend got it for me for Secret Santa. Thank you, Abby. A lot of these books are from my Shelterbox book club subscription, so that's why I've got this one, Eight Lives of a Century-Old Trickster, A Mouthful of Soul. I believe this one is Sudanese. For my Litfic shelf, I have got some down here. I've got Lonely Castle in the Mirror, which I really want to get to at some point. Everyone's Invited. The Mountains Sing. I picked this up in Waterstones because I saw that it was a signed copy. I read Enter Ghost by Isabella Hamad last year. I rated it 3 stars. I didn't love it that much, but I wanted to read a story by a Palestinian author, so I picked that up. I've got I Want to Die But I Still Want to Eat the Bokkie, and then a book on Hadestown. What else do I want to get to pretty soon? I want to get to Honeybees and Distant Thunder. If any of you guys have read any of these Litfit books, please let me know, so I'll know where to start. I've got the The Djinn Waits 100 Years, Delegate Dream Department Store. I kept seeing this one and my friend got it for me for Secret Santa. Thank you, Abby. And then a lot of these books are from my Shelterbox book club subscription. A Mouthful of Soul, I believe this one is Sudanese. I've also got this book called The Last Pea Hunter by Selene Goldenbird. This is actually Thai inspired, but I didn't get round to reading it, so I need to add this one back onto my list. I shall show you what's on this shelf. Here is like a mini one that I managed to slot in, but I will save these and my TBR cart for another video because I'm gonna run out of storage and my camera is boiling hot. Here I have some romance books. So this is The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. This is the Afterlight edition. Super beautiful. Christina Lauren, The True Love Experiment, also another Afterlight exclusive. Got the Chloe Brown series. They are also from Illumicrate, and Dial A for Aunties. These are like two of my top tier romance series, and that's why I had to get the special editions. Normal copy of Embrace the Serpent by Sunya Mara, which I haven't got round to reading. Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Another great book I read this year, and definitely a great contender for top 10 books of this year. My fairyloot editions of The Summer I Turned Pretty, these were perfect to have to hand while the show was being aired, because I mean the art inside is gorgeous, and it was really fun to reference the quotes that they pick straight out of the book to use in the show. I thought that was really fun. I think Fairyloot recently did a reprint of these if you guys were looking to get them. And here we have a few more Litfic books and a lamp and some room spray. Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors, I loved that book. Once Again Jaded by Ella, love that. My Friends by Frederick Backman, I want to start reading more of his books, so I picked this one up at the airport. The Moon Represents My Heart by Phimwang Tejawat. This one is a Thai author that I also really wanted to get to. As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow is one of my favourite books of all time, and I love Zulfa Khatib. This actually is a fantasy book, which I probably couldn't find a spot for at the time. This is Voidwalker by S.A. McLean, the same author that wrote The Phoenix Keeper. This is a fun looking sci-fi from the Illumicrate subscription, I think for last month, and I'm actually really excited to read this. On here we have Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, and I actually met her a few years ago at Hayfest, and she signed my book for me, and I actually cried when I met her. How embarrassing. She wrote, For Sam, with love, Dolly. Conversations on Love, Talking at Night, I read this year, I really enjoyed that. Another friend recommendation from my friend Abby's book. Funny you should ask, I haven't read yet, but on my radar. Another copy of As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, because I love this book so much. Bangkok Waits to Rain, another one by a Thai author which I haven't read yet. Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. The Thai edition of The Moon Represents My Heart, which in Thai is called Rao Tang Pen Duang Jan and Dut Dio. Then a copy of The Ministry of Time by Kalyan Bradley, and that one is by, I believe the author's half Cambodian, and she writes about a mixed character, which I really enjoyed. Some more romance, my Abby Jimenez Shrine, I love her so much. I read Promise Me Sunshine in July, one of my favorite books now of all time. Then my Emily Henry hardbacks, these are all from Illumicrate. I can't wait for the You and Me on Vacation movie. I believe it's called People We Meet on Vacation. It's gonna be so good. Bit of Our Infinite Fates, but in paperback. I mentioned this book earlier, but this is a proof of the principle of moments by Esme Jakimi Pearson. I was reading this copy and tabbed it. I loved it so much. So this is my little proof shelf apparently. Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. I also read this one, loved it and tabbed it. The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. Look, all of these have stuff falling out because I'm always shoving like bookmarks and postcards and everything inside. Down here we have a proof copy of Immortal Dark by Tiger Skirma, which I love that they put a quote on the spine, like it's very striking. The Jade City trilogy by Fonda Lee, which I haven't actually read. These are the Illumicrate editions, but Ryan's read them. He really enjoyed them. What is this? This is the Illumicrate edition of The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I really like this edition, actually. I like that they put a quote on the spine. Look at that. Gorgeous. And the foiling is so nice. I haven't actually read the sequel yet, A Day of Fallen Night, or I guess it's a prequel. Haven't got around to it, but I did really like the first one. Then these are my Percy Jackson books. They're from Illumicrate, and all of the like sprayed edges line up to make a map, which is super fun. And then we have a proof copy of Air by Sabatir. Down here is Ryan's book, so he has his own copy of The Sword of Kaigan. I bought The Rage of Dragons for us to read together. The Shadows of the Gods is also one that I want to read together. 5th season I want to read with him, and Son of the Storm, and then 2 other random books. So like I said, I think I'll save going through these books for later, because actually I probably need to get rid of some or sell, so I'll let you know how that goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you want to see any books in more detail, please let me know, and maybe I can do a separate video on prettiest books I own, or like going into depth with each of the special editions, because I was trying to keep this quite short so that you could see everything, but maybe not necessarily in the most detail you might have wanted to see them. But I will be back soon with another video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and in the meantime you can catch me on Instagram or TikTok, and I will see you very soon.